If you're watching this video, it's probably already too late and you self-diagnose yourself with the help of Dr. Google at least once by now. But it's never too late to rid yourself of this horrible and debilitating habit. And in this video, I will tell you why Googling symptoms has to be something that you stop right here, right now. For so many of us with health anxiety, Googling symptoms has become somewhat of an addiction. During my days dealing with anxiety, I spent every spare minute researching all I could about illnesses and reasons on why I felt the way I do. And you know what? In a weird way, it felt kind of good. But of course, this relief lasted just a few seconds, and then that inner terror you all know so well started to roar. Deep inside, I knew I had anxiety, at least a part of me knew, but the other part didn't want to really believe it. And of course, we with an anxiety disorder often need that feeling of complete control over ourselves and end up looking for answers. And the easiest way to do this nowadays is simply Googling. And oh my god, there is some horrible stuff on the internet that all somehow match the symptoms we feel. So over those couple of anxiety-filled years, I've diagnosed myself with angina, MS, ALS, Lyme disease, strokes, and almost every cancer known to mankind. And although they were all devastating and most probably terminal, like I said, I somehow felt some relief. I finally had a plausible answer to the many questions I had. But of course, this feeling would just last a couple of moments, and my mind would spiral completely out of control after. It could be just a couple of minutes after finally getting my act together and getting my eyes off the screen, and I would end up in a full-blown panic attack. Nothing too weird about that, as having panic attacks was something normal and I counted every single day. But over the hours or maybe even days following, I would end up feeling sensations resembling the illnesses I've just read about. If my current health scare was lung cancer, for example, I would notice a subtle difficulty in my breathing, or a chest and back pain that I've never realized was there before. Of course, these just confirmed my initial worry, and eventually I would end up going to a doctor, preferably to a specialist in the field. I've gotten every possible test done, and every time it would come out negative, and I was assured that I was physically healthy. Oh yeah, I'm all good and cleared, was of course my initial response, but I swear that reassurance lasted for no longer than 2 hours and I would end up feeling sensations all over again. That's just the way anxiety works. And guess what? Of course I started searching up my symptoms, and of course I found results. Then the symptoms slowly escalated once again and I ended up right back at the doctor's office. This would happen again and again and again. I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this can relate to my story. But hey, if you're here, it shows that you're pretty much convinced that you have anxiety. Take these moments of clarity and realize that Dr. Google will only have a negative impact on your recovery journey. Whatever symptom you could possibly think of, no matter how tiny, you will see hundreds of devastating results prominently displayed everywhere. And every now and then you will possibly find some little article relating them to anxiety. But hey, you know what? Your brain is so negatively wired and in desperate need for logical answers, it completely fades them out. Being highly anxious and concerned switches off your rational brain and will act like a sponge for negativity and catastrophic thinking. Don't forget, a panic disorder is nothing else than your body's emergency reaction being fired up again and again and again. And this reaction's sole purpose is to identify threats and keep you away from them. So you see, everything horrible you read up on the internet, your mind will classify it as a possible threat and will react with more tension and more stress. And the worst part of it all is that your mind is now on the constant lookout for these symptoms you've just researched about. And guess what? It will most probably find them. Trust me, muscle tension for example, which simply goes hand in hand with stress, will be able to create almost every symptom imaginable. And because you are so hyper-aware and in an alerted state of mind, you will quickly feel these subtle changes in your body. But unfortunately, that's not all. You have set your brain to connect the symptom with the illness, and that is exactly why you will overreact when confronted with them. This is why, guys, I believe after getting that initial reassurance from the doctor, and maybe just to be more at ease, you can even get a second opinion. You should stop digging for answers, if they've been clearly laid out to you by professionals with many years of training and study. Getting rid of this habit speeds up the recovery process by simply making it less likely to end up with what I like to call symptom hopping, which is basically getting cleared from one disease and then moving over to the next one, over and over again. And if you do have the urge to look something up, I would stick to anxiety-related forums, websites, or videos. There are thousands of people out there that would like to help and that also have been through very similar circumstances in life. This is the kind of info that can keep you on track on your recovery path. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you're new here and want to see more anxiety-related content just like this one, consider subscribing.